Redefining Success, the power of community engagement in personal growth. Welcome to the BlackCEO Podcast. Today we have the extraordinary privilege of sharing insights from a truly remarkable individual who has dedicated her life to empowering communities and providing health, hope, and healing. I recently had the honor of interviewing Shelia Morris, a visionary leader whose impact on making the world a better place is nothing short of awe-inspiring. Her wisdom and experiences have the power to transform not just individuals, but entire communities, and I'm thrilled to share them with you today. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering what it truly means to live a great life, to find that elusive sweet spot where success, passion, and purpose intersect? If so, you're not alone. These are the questions that keep many of us tossing and turning, searching for answers in a world that often seems more obsessed with destinations than journeys. Imagine for a moment that you're standing at a crossroads. One path stretches out before you, wide and well-trodden, promising the kind of success that society tells us we should pursue. You know, the fancy job title, the corner office, the impressive bank balance. It's comfortable, it's expected, and let's face it, it's tempting. But then there's the other path. It's a bit more, let's say, adventurous. It winds its way through uncharted territory full of twists and turns. It's less defined, more challenging, and yet somehow it calls to you. It whispers of purpose, of impact, of a life lived in service to something greater than yourself. Which would you choose? For Shelia Morris, the choice was clear. She took the road less traveled, and in doing so, she's completely redefined what it means to be successful, to be a leader, and to make a lasting impact on the world around us. As I sat down with Shelia, I was immediately struck by her energy, her passion, her unwavering commitment to community engagement. It wasn't just a job for her or even a calling. No, for Shelia, it was more like a fire burning inside her, fueling every action, guiding every decision. And let me tell you, that fire, it's contagious. Shelia shared a perspective on success that challenged everything I thought I knew. She said, success is a journey, not a destination. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Now, I know what you're thinking. We've all heard that phrase before, right? It's practically a cliche at this point, but hear me out, because the way Shelia embodies this principle is truly revolutionary. You see, for Shelia, success isn't measured by the size of her bank account or the prestige of her job title. It's not about how many followers she has on social media or how many awards are gathering dust on her shelf. No, for Shelia, success is measured by the lives she touches, the community she uplifts, and the hope she instills in others. It's about waking up every day with a burning desire to make a difference, no matter how small. But here's where it gets really interesting. Shelia doesn't just talk the talk. She walks the walk. And let me tell you, she walks it with style, grace, and a healthy dose of sass. She believes in meeting people where they are, in all walks of life, rich or poor, young or old, struggling or thriving. Shelia sees the inherent value in every individual. She shared a profound statement that I think we all need to hear. You never look down on someone unless you're picking them up. Let that sink in for a moment. In a world that often seems divided, where it's all too easy to judge others based on their circumstances, Shelia reminds us of our shared humanity. She challenges us to see the potential in everyone, to extend a hand rather than turn our backs. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That's all well and good, but how does this apply to me? I'm not running a nonprofit or leading a community organization. I'm just trying to make it through my 9 to 5 without falling asleep in my coffee. And that's exactly the point I want to address. You see, what I learned from Shelia is that community engagement isn't just for social workers or politicians. It's not some lofty ideal reserved for saints and superheroes. It's for all of us. It's about recognizing that we're all part of something bigger than ourselves, that our actions, no matter how small, can create ripples of change that extend far beyond our immediate circle. Think about it. When was the last time you really connected with your neighbors? And no, I don't mean that awkward wave you give when you're both taking out the trash at the same time. I mean really connected. When did you last volunteer at a local shelter or participate in a community cleanup? These might seem like small actions, but they're the building blocks of strong, resilient communities. Shelia shared a story that really drove this point home. She told me about a time when she encountered a homeless man on her way to work. Now, many people might have walked by averting their eyes, perhaps feeling a twinge of guilt, but ultimately doing nothing. Maybe muttering something about getting a job under their breath. But not Shelia. She stopped, looked the man in the eye, and asked him his name. That simple act of acknowledgement, of seeing this man as a fellow human being worthy of dignity and respect, led to a conversation. Shelia learned that this man, let's call him John, had lost his job and subsequently his home. He had skills, he had dreams, but he had lost hope. He was adrift in a sea of indifference, invisible to the bustling crowd around him. Instead of just offering John some spare change and moving on with her day, patting herself on the back for her good deed, Shelia took action. She connected John with local resources for job training and temporary housing. She checked in on him regularly, offering encouragement and support. And you know what? 6 months later, John had a job and an apartment. He was back on his feet, not just surviving, but thriving. Now, I'm not saying we all need to single-handedly solve homelessness in our communities. I mean, if you can, go for it. We'll throw you a parade. But what if we all took the time to really see the people around us? What if we approached our communities with the same passion and dedication that we bring to our careers or our hobbies? What if we treated our neighborhoods with the same care we give to our Instagram feeds? This is where Shelia's philosophy of connecting the dots to living a great life comes into play. You see, she believes, and I'm starting to believe too, that true fulfillment comes from aligning our passions with our actions and using our unique skills and resources to lift up those around us. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected. Your success, my success, the success of that person you pass on the street, it's all linked. When we invest in our communities, when we work to create opportunities for others, we're not just helping them. We're creating a rising tide that lifts all boats, including our own. It's like a cosmic game of pay it forward where everyone wins. But let's be real for a moment. This kind of community engagement, this commitment to making a difference, it's not always easy. It can be messy. It can be frustrating. And sometimes it can feel like you're trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. Shelia doesn't shy away from these challenges. In fact, she embraces them with open arms and a mischievous grin. She shared with me her belief that these obstacles are actually opportunities for growth. Every setback is a chance to learn, to adapt, to come back stronger. It's about cultivating resilience, not just in ourselves, but in our communities as well. It's like going to the gym for your soul. Sure, it might hurt at first, but you come out stronger on the other side. Shelia's approach reminds me of the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold, making the piece even more beautiful and valuable than it was before. In the same way, when we face challenges in our communities and work together to overcome them, we create something stronger, more resilient, and more beautiful than what existed before. We turn our scars into stars, our wounds into wisdom. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm just one person. What real difference can I make? I'm not Oprah or Bill Gates. I can't write $1 million checks or start global foundations. And to that, I want to share another insight from my conversation with Shelia. She believes wholeheartedly in the power of small actions. She often quotes the famous starfish story where a child is throwing stranded starfish back into the ocean one by one. When told that he can't possibly make a difference because there are miles of beach and thousands of starfish, the child picks up another starfish, throws it into the ocean, and says, I made a difference for that one. This story encapsulates Shelia's approach to community engagement and social change. It's not about solving all the world's problems overnight. It's not about being a superhero or a saint. It's about doing what you can, where you are, with what you have. It's about recognizing that every action, no matter how small, has the potential to create positive change. So what does this mean for you? It means that you have the power to make a difference right here, right now. Maybe it's volunteering at a local food bank. Maybe it's mentoring a young person in your industry. Maybe it's simply taking the time to really listen to a friend or colleague who's going through a tough time. Maybe it's picking up that piece of litter on the sidewalk instead of stepping over it for the 100th time. These actions might seem small in the grand scheme of things, but they're not. They're the threads that, when woven together, create the fabric of a strong, supportive community. They're the building blocks of the kind of world we all want to live in. They're the tiny pebbles that start the avalanche of positive change. As we near the end of our time together, I want to circle back to something Shelia said that really stuck with me. She talked about empowering the community, and providing health, hope, and healing. This, to me, is the essence of what it means to live a truly great life. It's about recognizing that our own well being is inextricably linked to the well being of those around us. It's about understanding that true success isn't just about what we achieve for ourselves, but what we help others achieve. It's about seeing the potential in every person, every situation, every challenge. It's about being the change we want to see in the world, even when it feels like the world isn't watching. Shelia's insights have challenged me to rethink my own definition of success. They've inspired me to look for ways to integrate community engagement into my daily life, to seek out opportunities to lift others up, to be more intentional about the impact I'm having on the world around me. They've made me realize that maybe, just maybe, the key to happiness isn't in chasing after more for ourselves, but in giving more of ourselves to others. And now I want to challenge you to do the same. As you leave this talk today, I want you to ask yourself, how can I use my unique skills, resources, and passions to make a positive impact in my community? How can I embody the principle of never looking down on someone unless I'm picking them up? How can I start seeing challenges as opportunities for growth and positive change? How can I be more like Shelia? Remember, you don't have to change the entire world overnight. You don't have to quit your job and start a nonprofit tomorrow. Start small. Start where you are, but start. Because, as Shelia Morris has shown us, when we commit to empowering our communities, when we dedicate ourselves to providing health, hope, and healing to those around us, we're not just changing the world, we're changing ourselves. In the words of the great anthropologist Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Like, you listening to this right now are one of those citizens. You have the power to make a difference. You have the ability to create change. You have the potential to be a force for good in your community. So let's take Shelia's lessons to heart. Let's redefine success as a journey of passion, purpose, and community impact. Let's commit to lifting others up, to seeing the potential in every person and every situation. Let's be the change we want to see in the world, one small action at a time. Let's make kindness cool again. Let's make compassion contagious. Let's make empathy epidemic. As we conclude this talk, I want to leave you with a call to action. I challenge you to do one thing today, just one thing, to make a positive impact in your community. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be genuine. Maybe it's smiling at a stranger. Maybe it's picking up litter in your local park. Maybe it's donating to a local charity. Whatever it is, do it with intention, do it with love, do it with the knowledge that you're part of something bigger than yourself. And then tomorrow, do it again. And the next day, and the day after that. Make it a habit. Make it a lifestyle. Make it your legacy, because that's how change happens. That's how communities are transformed. That's how we create a world that's a little bit kinder, a little bit fairer, a little bit more compassionate. Remember, success is not a destination, it's a journey, and it's a journey best taken together, hand in hand with our communities. So let's start that journey today. Let's redefine success. Let's reimagine our communities. Let's reinvent ourselves. Let's create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, where no one is left behind, where kindness is the norm, not the exception. The choice is yours. The time is now. Will you join me? Will you join Shelia? Will you be the change? The world is waiting. Your community is waiting. Your better self is waiting. What are you waiting for? Thank you.